up on the Now, we're finding out that Facebook is tracking us in stores too. So we're going to show you how you can get away from these targeted ads. A young man turned his bullying experience into a way to spread kindness. And now his family is making sure other kids can get the help he did with a free mental health care access for youth. And a new movie is getting a lot of people talking about marriages. A family therapist details why the film Marriage Story is resonating and what we can all learn about relationships.
And it is 5:30 on a snowy Monday evening. Thanks for watching the Now Indy. You are looking through the windshield of our live drive and made a lane change there. Signals on. Don't worry. Seatbelts are on as well. But we do not have snow-covered lanes right now in central Indiana. But everybody taking it slowly. We know how conditions change, especially on those bridges and overpasses. There are pockets of heavy snow. The heavier snow is south of Indy. I'll show you in a second. That does a couple things. Obviously, it increases the likelihood that you get a quick cover on the roadways, but it drops your visibility down to a half mile in spots. These temperatures have been in our favor, right around the freezing mark. To the north, not much happening. You're saying, what snow? From Crawfordsville to Kokomo to Marion northwest, lots of clouds but no snow. You come down toward Indy, light snow. It's when you go south of Indy that the snowfall intensity picks up between Indy and Bloomington, Indy and Greensburg, and then Indy and Richmond. We'll zoom in closer from Shelbyville on south along State Road 9, pocket of heavy snow there, back to just north of Edinburgh, which will impact I-65 in Johnson County, then toward the hills of Brown County, northern portion of Brown County to northern Monroe County near Bloomington. This is a look at Bloomington, and there too you can see the roadway. That's a positive sign. 30 in Greenwood, 31 in Muncie. What's ahead for the evening hours? Temperatures will be steady. That snow continues for the next several hours with winds out of the northwest at around 10. Amanda?
All right, thank you, Kevin. They're stepping up to put their lives on the line and make Indianapolis a safer place to live, and the journey officially began today. IMPD Chief Brian Roach and Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett today swore in the next class of Indianapolis police recruits, 65 men and women. The class is 31% female, the largest percentage ever in the history of IMPD. And while the class is more than half white, there are also several recruits who are men and women of color.
As we continue to reach out to the community, we hope that IMPD is reflecting even better than it ever has before the community it's protecting and serving.
The recruits will receive 28 weeks of classroom and scenario-based training and 20 weeks of field training. This will be the longest police academy ever for IMPD recruits. Emphasis will be put on increased communication skills, de-escalation skills, how to recognize mental health issues, cultural awareness, and implicit bias.
The House Judiciary Committee is out with its full report making its case for impeaching President Trump. That tops our Now News feed. So the committee released the report today that lays out the groundwork for the House's full vote on the impeachment articles on Wednesday. The ranking Republican on the committee says the articles don't establish an impeachable offense. Senator Lindsey Graham is giving new details on the president's plan to reduce the number of troops in Afghanistan. Graham is in the Afghan capital today and says the number of troops could go from 12,000 to 8,600 next year. If someone calls you claiming to be with the Social Security Administration, don't trust it. The FTC says that's the type of scam call that's happening the most right now. The real Social Security Administration will never call to threaten your benefits. Well, the opioid epidemic isn't just affecting adults. Research published today in JAMA Pediatrics shows just how much it's also affecting children of parents who abuse opioids. Some babies are born with withdrawal symptoms if they were exposed to opioids during pregnancy. The average cost to treat this is about $22,000 per infant. In 2016, total treatment costs were about $572 million. Vaping for years is linked to an increased risk of respiratory diseases. This is according to a new study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine. Researchers say people who use vapes or e-cigs are more likely to experience chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, chronic bronchitis, and asthma. At the same time, though, other researchers debate that discouraging people from vaping may cause smokers to go back to cigarettes and experience other smoking-related diseases. Healthcare insurance company Cigna wants to make sure its customers are taking their prescribed medication. Cigna plans on using artificial intelligence to collect health information. Diabetes patients who opt into the service will have their glucose levels and blood pressure measured. The AI tool for prescriptions will be available in January. Well, ahead in our lineup, we know Facebook is tracking us online, but now we're finding out it's happening in stores too. We're going to show you how you can get away from these targeted ads. You're watching the Now.
Don't miss out on this special offer.
Welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. We are taking a live look outside at I-65 on the south side. This is near the Southport Road exit. You can see the snow is still coming down, but the roads look mostly clear. Just make sure to give yourself extra time on your commute home or wherever you may be going tonight, and drive carefully. It's been delayed a couple of times, but now a portion of Illinois Street downtown is completely closed for several months. The full closure took effect earlier this afternoon after Citizens Energy began lane restrictions last week on Illinois between McCarty and South Streets. Crews will be working on the Dig Indy tunnel system. This stretch of Illinois Street should be closed until July. Annie.
Today, we're learning Facebook is gathering even more information about us. So it appears the site is finding out information about purchases that we make in stores, not just online. Business Insider looked into this. Facebook told them that retailers are sharing that information with them. So when you make a purchase, a store will gather some of the information and send it back to Facebook. The store can identify you by your name, email, phone number, or birthday, all things that are used to sign up for store rewards, as well as a Facebook account. Well, Facebook will then use that information to send you targeted ads. Experts say the only new part about this is what information Facebook is tracking. All of this is legal too, by the way. You pretty much signed off on it when you created a Facebook account. And you can turn off this feature. But experts say in order for these practices to completely stop, Congress needs to put regulations in place.
But I think that companies are sort of testing the boundaries. They're doing whatever they think they can do to maximize the collection of data and the monetization of that data before these regulations sort of hit.
So while we wait for regulations, users can still protect their data. So you will need to go to your settings tab on Facebook, select ads on the left-hand side, and then choose not allowed on the section that says ads based on data from partners. Instagram rolled out a new feature today. The app is now using artificial intelligence to detect bullying. AI will look for offensive language in captions. If it finds something that could be considered bullying, it'll give the user the chance to change the caption or even delete it before they can post. Well, more to get to in our lineup. A young man turned his bullying experience into a way to spread kindness. And now his family is making sure other kids can get the help he did with free mental health care access for youth.
For only $89 for On Time.
We start the Now News feed with a historic discovery. You're looking at the largest Roman shipwreck ever found in the eastern part of the Mediterranean Sea. Researchers just unveiled this discovery. Archaeologists say the ship was carrying 6,000 large terracotta pots. And it turns out our habit of using disposable cups isn't a new thing. This 3,600-year-old disposable cup is getting ready to go on display at the British Museum. Experts believe the cup was designed by the Minoans on the Greek island of Crete to drink wine and then be thrown away after a feast. Well, a malnourished stray dog finds its forever home by accident. You can see it on camera here, wandering into a Philadelphia area home. A neighbor saw the open door and unknowingly shut the dog inside. So when the homeowners woke, they found the dog. They say they decided to keep her in the end.
Do you think Zola could have made planning your perfect wedding easier?
We do. This is the ad that Hallmark Channel decided to stop airing. The commercial featured two women exchanging wedding vows. Hallmark says it pulled the ad off air after facing pressure from the conservative group 1 Million Moms. But now Hallmark is reversing its decision on the ad. It says it's truly sorry for the hurt and disappointment this has caused and that it is committed to diversity and inclusion. GLAAD says it has been working with Hallmark.
I hope people don't boycott Hallmark because I think they want to do the right thing and the good thing. And we're going to work with them very closely to make sure that they are truly inclusive and diverse.
Zola, the company behind the ads, says it is considering returning its ads to Hallmark. An animal is bound to come up on a Christmas list at some point. Are we right about that? Pets as a gift, it can be a great idea, but the ASPCA says you need to consider a few things first.
You carve out a little bit of time to help that dog or cat really get to know you, get to know your routine a little bit, and give them some time to settle in.
If you don't think your family is ready for a new pet, consider a puppy promise or a cat commitment instead. Basically, it's an IOU. Then set up some opportunities to test drive the new responsibility.
Rescues and shelters are always looking for fosters, and they have wonderful foster networks. Sometimes they have, short-term foster needs. And so you could talk to your family and see if it's right to maybe foster a dog or a puppy for a few days or for a long weekend and see if it's right for your family.
Helping watch a neighbor or maybe a family member's dog is also a good way to know if your family is ready for one. The ASPCA suggests not buying animals from pet stores, saying they support commercial breeding. And the Better Business Bureau cautions against buying online, citing a rise in puppy scams.
And 'tis the season for giving, goodwill, and unfortunately scams. Consumer reporter John Matarese shows us the top holiday season ripoffs to watch out for so you don't waste your money.
The holidays are the time of year when we tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. That also means we let our guard down when it comes to scams. So we have a warning about some of the top ploys to separate you from your money this holiday season. This is the time of year all those packages are showing up on our doorstep, and scammers know that. So some of the top scams to watch for right now, according to the Better Business Bureau, number 1, fake Amazon, FedEx, or UPS delivery notices. Lisa Wang was just targeted by one.
Said that you have a big shipment order.
Number 2, Porch Pirates, who grab packages outside homes. Number 3, the puppy scam, where a Craigslist seller wants you to pay shipping costs for Christmas puppies that don't exist.
Called him, couldn't get through. That was the end of the communications.
4, fake apps from department stores. 5, the Secret Sister gift exchange. You won't get the promised gifts. 6, phony mystery shopper jobs, like the one that targeted Stephanie Tull.
The website, it seemed legit.
That stink file, the re-holiday scams that go back to the dawn of the internet 25 years ago. You'll say, doesn't that stink, if you fall for bogus government grants, phony e-cards, and email letters from Santa that are stuffed with malware. So sure, share the holiday spirit. But if it's a call or email, don't be so sharing or forgiving so you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matarese for RTV6.
And one thing I warn you against, overconfidence on the roadways just because you can see pavement. It's pretty slushy, obviously, because we've had about 1.5 inches to almost 2 inches of snow today in Indy. Most of it not accumulating on the roadway, but this evening started to get a little more evidence. We're on the southwest side then of Marion County, Kentucky Avenue. Okay, we promoted the big teddy bear toss to benefit the Six Shines On Toy Drive. I took the flying leap today into a very comfortable pile of stuffed animals. 6,624 collected. A great night Saturday night. Those will be distributed starting this week to families in need. Again, thanks for all your help. That is a great family night. As far as the heavier snow shifting south and east of the metro area, from just east of Bloomington, north of Nashville, toward Greensburg and Richmond, that slides to the north and east. I just want to point this out. While we have rain in central Indiana, there's a tornado watch down to the south that goes all the way to the Gulf Coast states, northwest of New Orleans. Of course, Colts are playing down there tonight. There was one fatality with a tornado earlier in the day in Louisiana. Temperatures upper 20s to low 30s. They will not change much through the evening. That's a cold breeze. Fortunately, the snow is wet and it's sticky and it's heavy, so the wind does not efficiently blow the snow around at all. That wind will continue, and the temperature hovers right around the freezing mark through 11 o'clock tonight. We'll talk about the change in direction in our weather for the rest of the week starting tomorrow, coming up.
All right, take a look at this right here. You can tell by all the red on the CDC map that flu season is in full swing. And you're probably noticing a lot more sniffles or coughs when you're out and about. Well, you can feel when something is coming on, right? You start to get that anxiety and you're like, oh my gosh, what is it?
With the flu, it is very abrupt. You're fine 1 minute, the next minute you feel literally like you walked into a wall. Whereas with the cold, it's more of a gradual onset, usually starting with that scratchy, sore throat that something is starting. The next day you'll develop maybe the congestion, then the next day that cough starts.
Dr. Mia Finkelstein with American Well walked us through some of the common questions around the cold and flu, like when am I contagious and when should I stay at home? She says if you have a fever or if you're very runny, stay home. Another common question, do I need antibiotics for the flu or cold? Dr. Mia says no, because they're viruses. People can end up on antibiotics, though, with the cold and flu if they get a second bacterial infection. But if you do catch flu symptoms within the first 48 hours, you can get something prescribed to lessen the impact, like Tamiflu. All right, taking a look at the Now News feed. The Supreme Court will not review a case that makes it harder for cities to keep homeless people from sleeping on the streets. This case is specifically about homeless camping ban in Idaho, but it has nationwide ramifications. An appeals court said that Boise could not make homelessness a crime. The ban will stay in place. People with diabetes are getting new control over their treatment. The FDA has just approved a device that lets people with type 1 diabetes automatically adjust their insulin levels. It's expected to be available starting next month. And fewer students are enrolling in college. The National Student Clearinghouse Research Center says there were 250,000 fewer students this fall than there were a year ago. Experts say more people are leaving school to go to work. Well, an extraordinary young man took a near tragedy and turned it into triumph. He's now hoping to reach teens who need mental health services free of charge. Usher Qureshi has the story from Las Vegas.
Vibrant splashes of paint embellish the walls.
We're good to go.
The Nipper family is putting the finishing touches on what they hope will become a safe haven for Las Vegas teens who may need a little help.
If some teen is feeling suicidal or just needs to talk to somebody, they don't have to be put on a waiting list. They don't have to be postponed and put off because they don't have the right insurance.
When it opens, the nonprofit Kyler's Kicks Lounge will provide a safe space for teens with access to mental health care professionals, therapeutic activities, and important social resources. All of it free of cost.
It's not just mental health care. Kids will be able to come in here and get tutoring, get food, and learn valuable life skills that they won't learn in school. What size are you? Yeah, 10.5.
The endeavor is the next step in healing for 14-year-old Kyler. When he was just 11, he survived being bullied and stabbed by a classmate simply because of his shoes.
I never really realized that your life could end at any moment. So I want to make sure that you have made an impact. You made other people's lives amazing.
For the last 3 years, he's given away shoes through his nonprofit, Kyler's Kicks.
These are 10.
A way to help him cope with PTSD while making a difference.
He loves doing it. He loves helping people. He loves giving. This is a new venture.
A new venture that he hopes will provide access to mental health care for countless others like him.
My parents were willing to sacrifice, all of the money that we had to get me to see a therapist. But hopefully this place will prevent that for all the other kids.
Reporting from Las Vegas, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Usher, thank you. Well, finally in our lineup, a new movie is getting a lot of people talking about marriage and divorce. Ahead, we're talking with a family therapist about why the film Marriage Story is resonating and what we can all learn about relationships.